maybe. But here we have Red Sonja #1. So this is continuing off of our free comic book day book. So set up a story where she's like wrongfully accused of killing this lady because she was killed by a magic sword. And it's the same creative team. So we have Torunn Gronbeck as our writer and Walter Giovani as our artist. Not for the cover though. It seems the cover was drawn by somebody named Shauna. Shauna something. Nice digital painting. Looks like they had some maybe somebody to stand for them for reference, but it's a nice little digital painting. But let's get just into it. Here we have our classic little Nemedian Chronicles style, or maybe I guess it probably is from the Nemedian Chronicles. Maybe little starter for Red Sonja that basically is very similar to the Conan one. It even mentions Conan. So, we're celebrating Red Sonja's 50th anniversary, which that's a hell of a thing. And actually, with that image right there, which is drawn, looks like maybe Frank Thorne. Might not be Frank Thorne, but we are going to talk about a Frank Thorne edition of Red Sonja soon. As to kind of compare and contrast with this one. So with this one, one image I'm going to start with that I think is really cool is this giant statue here. I love like mega structures in old times, and I think this is a cool thing. Like I like the little detail that the sword's broken. And we got this town behind here. It's this little kind of town with this tall, distinctive tower. I think it's good to have distinctive architecture in your worlds, because then it's easy to tell the reader where you are. So if you cut between different locations, this is how you distinguish this new location. And similar to last time, the artwork is fine, but there are certain things about it that don't read as well to me for like a fantasy book, or at least one that's set in the kind of world that we're in. So this is set just like Conan in a world that's between the fall of Atlantis and the rise of modern civilization, which is a period of history that didn't exist, but it's this like super long set of history that's essentially lost. And it's got all these lost continents in it, like Lemuria and I don't know, Aquilonia or something like that. Whatever. It's just it's like the age of the lost continents, and like all these different civilizations existed in that intermediate time. So I don't know, like it's a unrealistic time. So why get specific with how people dress and the level of technology in some of the homes, or level of technology in general, or just like clothing or whatever. But I think it matters to the believability, or rather just like the consistency of the world. And right away, like, this figure reads well as like, I know immediately when I see him, he's like a pope or a bishop, or like a religious figure. Like, he's wearing a bishop's mitre on his head. He's got like the kind of like this little vestment thing. Like, visual language wise, he very much looks like religious guy, and he's stern or whatever. I think he's got like scars on his face. Yeah, this guy. You can tell he's a villain, right? Because he's about to burn a baby in a tower. Like, hardcore shit. But yeah, just still that, like, for some reason, when I see that, it's just like, that looks... It's also a very distinct look, as in, like, that is... like a Judeo-Christian outfit. It's not. They believe in gods and whatnot, so um, it's not like a Christian bishop, but that's like the imagery they're evoking. And so like the timeline in my head is all screwed up because this looks like, almost like an 18th century bishop or something like that. And I it's hard to get my head to put this in the right timeline. But again, it's not a real timeline. It doesn't really matter. It's just, you could say a nitpick as far as design wise. Like, I feel like there's ways to design a similar outfit that isn't as quick to evoke the imagery of the Catholic Church. But maybe that's the idea. Maybe they're making a criticism on the Catholic Church, which, hey, fair. I get it. But I like little stitching notes like there. Like, I think that's good. But yeah, we're gonna move along here. We have our Red Sonja. I think that she's it's a nice little pose here. Her outfit's very notable. And I don't. There's one thing I don't understand. I don't know exactly what the hell is on the horse's face, but she's picking it off here, and the horse doesn't like it. So I have no idea what it is. I'm wondering if it's like brambles or something, but that's not clear. But it's a detail. It's interesting, I guess. And we're following the perspective of this bird that's following her, or someone that's following her, and then we get this little fight scene with Red Sonja and these guys, and she's swinging her sword. We get some action poses. We get this kind of look of confidence here. Like it's fine stuff. And then we got the Juggernaut here who's swinging his flail, and for some reason, like, he looks big here. But then here, like, yes, he's still tall, but he seems like, I don't know. There's just something about, like, his vastness seems diminished here a little. Because for a second I was like, is that the same guy? Oh, it is the same guy. And his helmet's knocked off. I feel like the helmet does a lot to, like, make him seem bigger. I don't know. I like there's a knee slide here. It's not bad. But yeah, like, it's, the I guess the real issue that comes down for me is I feel the art, again. I don't want to be mean. Like, it's fine. It's just I feel like this artist would be more comfortable drawing something more modern. Just because I don't know. Like, there's just lots of real neat straight lines in these buildings, and the cut of the clothes looks very modern. And also, like, the timeline for this, like, all these different, like, accoutrements and stuff like that. It's just, it doesn't quite fit together as well as I'd like it to. Also, there's an odd transition here because he's like, this guy's like expecting her, quote unquote, and he leads her in. And he leads her, I guess, to his bedroom, which I guess that's what she's referring to. You dirty, dirty boy, Bishop. But, like, I would have thought that but it looks like she's looking at this stuff, and I can't even tell what that is. So I guess it just means, like, oh, he led her to the bedroom, because what's revealed here is that I guess the guy thought she was a sex worker, and so he's ready to go down, to mess around, but, like, they know each other, and he's gonna maybe do her a favor. But again, very, like, that's a bishop smiter. That's like a Christian bishop smiter. So we are still we're still referencing stuff that's, like, from our world, and I guess still our time, because they still wear those outfits. Again, communicates, and then, like, these guys, they're monks, and they got the shaved heads and stuff like that. Like, that's, like, modern world monk imagery. And not to say that like monks to polytheistic gods can't look similar to our monks. It's just I could have used a little more unique imagery. I do like this face though. Look at that face. And I guess this is the real sex worker showing up. Yeah, that face is great. Yeah, but we're setting up basically like a religious conflict because like this guy's listening to the gods, and he's riling these people up, and Sonja's gonna get wrapped up in it because like there's this sneaky shit talking to her, and I think my favorite scene of this whole book starts here, and it's when she goes into this tavern and all this stuff's happening around her. There's guys fighting. There's a bard singing, and there's this guy hitting on her, but she seems, having fun. She's into it, and but like yeah, like all this stuff's happening, and then it suddenly stops, and it's because like they're all possessed by the same shit that was affecting people in the first in the free comic book day book. So like yeah, something's going on, and so like it's an interesting start to this like the storyline, the series, but like yeah, I think the it's just simply like I think the art is serviceable. It's doing what it needs to tell the story, but it's just not, it doesn't wow me. It doesn't hit me in a way that like, oh, this is like I just think that this artist who has their strengths for sure, I just think that like depicting this kind of world, like this fantasy world is just, it doesn't come naturally to them, or it doesn't, that's not as exciting to them as other things, because like this is like a very like superhero like action panel right here, which is fine. And I feel like get this guy on a superhero book, and I think that he would do some great shit with it. But there's just something, yeah, like the way that you draw, the way that fantasy is drawn in a comic, it needs to be of a certain kind, to at least for me. Like I feel like that there's just not everybody can draw it as well. But it's at least interesting. I might continue with it, especially if people want me to. But ultimately, not as strong as a start as the Conan book, but still like a solid book. So yeah, like if this is your thing, definitely check it out. If you like what I do and you want to support me, you can get my comics. Sidequesters is my fantasy book. It's the project that I have put the most heart and soul into, and I just really love how it's turned out. I have 8 issues of it out for now. And it is a fantasy story about a noble warrior who has to work with and eventually become best friends with a giant lizard man. And it's got comedy, adventure. It is the kind of fantasy story that I would want to read. And you can buy the single volume or the individual issues, or you can just read them on Global Comics. But yeah, if this is something you're into, if it appeals to you, please check it out. I also have my Haxan short story collections. These are related to Sidequesters. These are set in the same universe, and they deal with magic users in that universe. And the first set collection here is in black and white. And it's kind of dark tales of magic users, and then the other, and this is much the same, although not as dark. Well, actually, pretty dark. But yeah, they are 60 pages each. This one has 4 stories in it. This one has 3. And they are available for purchase. And you can also read the short stories on Global Comics. If superheroes is your vibe, then I would recommend my book 3-Panel Origin, which is a comedy book that is akin to The Tick, where I create a character and tell their origin in 3 panels. And it's a web comic, so you can find it over on Instagram at 3-Panel Origin. But this is a collection of the first 3 years of stories. And so it's a nice reissued artwork. Like, I went and remastered all of it. So it looks even better in print than it does online, frankly. Has some extra matter in the back about like character creation and stuff like that, just like where I come up with some of my ideas. But yeah, it's a lot of fun, and I'm really proud of it. So like, you can get this book for yourself. And also related to it is 3PO Comics, which is a set of like short stories in the same world. It's using my ridiculous characters, and I'm also in it pimping my other work here. But yeah, I'm really proud of this, and I think it's a lot of fun. I think it's silly. I put in a bunch of fake ads and stuff in here, and a bunch of fake ads on the back, which I love. But yeah, these are both available for purchase on my website.